different site. About 30 trainees are recruited each year to undergo skills training. You can see on the next slide, you can see on the left of the slide, the number of different skills which they are able to fulfill at Nyangombe. There's lots more, but they're just the basic ones. Thank you. We're going off now to the tailoring school. And the tailoring school was started a few years ago. It was after the centre was running for many years. It was realised that many of the women had lost their husbands, and their husband's family came along and took everything and left them destitute. They left them with the children, and they were desperate. It was in the way to survive, the ladies turned to prostitution. And Sybil McKillop asked one day, is there anything that could be done? The tailoring course came into being to give these ladies a wage earning skill with which they could earn enough to feed their families. We always mix and match as we recruit people for the training schools. We're looking for strong, mature Christian ladies to mix with the others. On completion of the course, some ladies created a co-op where they were able to try and secure orders for school uniforms and even army uniforms. 2 ladies returned to Nyangombe after getting their business up and running and asked Gordon McKillop to thank everybody who had shown love and cared for them. They were quite emotional when they said that the Lord had forgiven and wiped out their past and given them a new life. Can you move on, please? On the left, you can see the ladies as they are finishing a course, and on the right are the new entrants that are coming into the course. Sometimes these ladies would have maybe a child, a baby, fastened to their back as they go through the course, and they're able to make very good garments. And sometimes they can just sort of look at you. They had a shirt, I was going to wear it tonight, but I think it was a bit loud. But they actually sort of looked and worked out all my measurements and came and presented me with a shirt when I was leaving to come home. Unfortunately, I didn't quite fit the measurement which they guessed, but they are very nice. Many of the garments which they make, they're very pretty indeed. Thank you. On completing the course, everybody in Nyangombe is able to be equipped to go on. Here you see with them some of their tools. They're given the scissors, they're given the measuring staff, they're given tape measures, and of course they're given the certificate, which is most important, particularly if you're going to get any employment anywhere, and also to go onto the wall. Thank you. We're going to move on now and talk about the feeding programs. The babies that come in, many of them have an unfortunate start in life. They found themselves severely undernourished, and so that Sybil is able to run a nutritional care program in the centre at Nyangombe. The babies are helped through the difficult periods until they're able to get onto solid food. One of our ladies, Flora, she pointed out a young lady who was walking past one day to Gordon and said, "Do you know who she is?" Gordon didn't realise. And he said, she was the girl who came along one day. And Sybil said, "I don't think the child will last the night." She's now 18 years old and is starting to study to train for a nurse. So we're able to see great results from the people that come along. Thank you. Here they are giving the porridge out. It's porridge with cow's milk because of the herd which they keep at Nyangombe. And the children get this. They come in once a fortnight, but you do have to watch them because they go round and they join the end of the queue again for a second issue sometimes. Each are given a bowl and a bowl full, and they go away and they eat this. Thank you. For those needing extra help, they're able to give out powdered milk. They use Formula 1 and Formula 2 for the tiny babies, some of which is sent out from supporters in this country through Medical Missionary News. And this is a great benefit for them. Now they put them in polythene bags, as you see here, but now they're making small containers, plastic containers, the sort that you would get maybe, you know, in a chippy when you get your curry. Well, please don't send them. You know, it wouldn't quite be right. But they're able to issue them with them, and they take them, and that's a fortnight's milk, and that's able to help the baby. And through that, Sybil and some of her helpers are able to watch the child and to be able to see that it grows. Thank you. Another area which has developed over the years is one of teaching them building skills. The bricklayers come in, and we've got them in a classroom here. We're trying to teach them some basic things about building material. We also found out that a lot of them didn't really have an understanding of maths and English, and certainly couldn't apply it. And so what we started to do was to be able to teach them basic maths, to be able to teach them to measure. I mean, stuff that really we would show a 10-year-old, but it's great to be able to see. They soon picked these up. They're very quick, very bright, and they were away being able to do that. They come for about 12 or 18 months. The first trainees started with Barry Haig, and one of them was a chap called Henry. Now, Henry served his time there as a bricklayer, continued to work there, and he now is really, I suppose you would call him, the centre manager. He's a strong Christian leader in the local churches, and he's a successful businessman as well, but he's able to run the centre. It's great to be able to see the way it's developed him and the way it's really, really brought him on. Thank you. The bricklayers are taught on day-to-day by Moses. Moses is one of the elders in the local church. He doesn't normally wear dressed like this. I said I wanted to take some photographs, and so he disappeared, and he reappeared in his best Sunday gear here. But these chaps have to build certain models, and from that we're able to be marked. And it's based on an NVQ that we would take in this country. It's a bit simplified, but the guys are able to do this and really show what they're capable of doing. Some need a bit more time, and they might stay on longer to be able to finish that. Thank you. Similarly, those involved in engineering would be involved under Gordon's supervision of being able to provide maintenance, rebuilding generators, servicing vehicles, fabricating all sorts of different things that people come along and ask if it could be made. And these guys have been able to take this on board. And at the end of their period, many of them go to the Christian Technical College in Ndola. It's called Mechanics for Africa. One of the trainees went there, and he got the top marks for the whole college. He then went on to be able to get a job in the mines. And today he's actually running one of the big garages in the mines, and a really bright Christian guy that he is. Thank you. We also train carpenters. There would be 9 to 12 trainees in any year. They're trained in all the basic skills, and have been able to use the tools which they have, and to be able to work as they would in the village. Also able to give them some experience of working with machinery, which again is useful if they're able to get a job down in the mines. Thank you. Here we are building some kitchen units for one of the guest houses, which was almost finished. And they've never done anything like this, never seen anything like this, but to be able to be involved, it makes them so excited. Thanks. And then when you see the job that they've done at the end, they're just so thrilled. It really is so encouraging. And where the worktops join together, teaching them how to do the mitre, and they're sort of rubbing their hand up and down the joint and saying, it looks as though it's grown together. Of course, it's made from chipboard, so it hasn't, but that's the way they like to see a finished job, and they like to be able to see that it's done right. And it really, really is encouraging. Thank you. These guys, when they finish, are able to get their certificates. They are able to take away the kit of tools, which you see the bags at the bottom, all complete with planes, saws, hammers, adzes, chisels, and everything that they would need really to get going. And these are provided by a number of organizations. Tools with a Mission help out. A group from Canada also send goods over. Folks from Merseyside, we collect stuff, and that's sent out to Medical Missionary News. And it's great to be able to see the way these guys have changed within the year. Thank you. They changed through education, and they're able to go out, and now they earn a living. 3 past students have opened their own furniture workshop just outside of Kitwe, one of the towns on the Copper Belt. They call it Furniture City. And for a mile or more, everybody is at the side of the road, and they have beds and chairs and wardrobes and you name it, they've made them. And these guys have got together and they produce the furniture and are able to sell it. They also work as a company and go into the mine and do contracting work there. But you know, the most encouraging thing is that these fellas have all started churches in the villages where they come from. And those churches are growing. And now these guys are coming back to the Bible school to be taught the scriptures and to be able to learn. And they go back and they then retell everything that they've learned within the local church. So it really is great to be able to see the involvement of them. But one day, Gordon had a contact from the mine, and he said to him, you know, sort of, how many trainees do you have there? And Gordon said, well, we have about 9 a year. He said, oh, that's interesting. He said, I've got 24 here with certificates to say that they've been with you. So Gordon asked them for the names. And then when they sorted out who'd actually been there, the guy said, I thought there was something that was different. He said, all these guys that haven't been to the centre, he said, first of all, their work ethic was not the same. He said, and secondly, their moral was not the same. And so it's really a blessing to be able to see the way it's touching people's lives. Thank you. One day, Timothy came onto the site and he began to look for the leaders. He said he needed to speak to the leaders. And so they were able to assemble all of the leaders. And this guy came and he said, I've got a confession to make. He said, I've come to confess that when I was training as a trainee, he said, I stole some tools, I took them and I've been using them. He said, but I've become a Christian. He said, and God's spoken to me. He said, and I've come back to beg for your forgiveness. And so they were able to chat to him for a long time. This fellow is now coming to the Bible school sent by his local church to be able to be built up and to be strong. What a change from a guy that would take these and take them home as against somebody that, you know, is now really, really wanting to study. Thank you. These are some of the trainee leaders, and you see Moses on the left in his that's in his work gear. That's the way you see him every day, and he's involved in in the brickwork. And then we've got the agricultural work and the tractor driving, the carpentry work, and the general running of the place. Thank you. And then there's the children's camps. It's just not like it is in the UK, in that they might get 800 or they might get 1,000. Excuse me. Or I think 1,200 has been the ceiling. So if you can imagine arranging a football match for that, you know, sort of 1,200 children. But the camps are very well organized. They're broken down into groups in the areas in which they live and in the churches where they come from. And they have a great time. But what impressed me was from early in the morning, they start their spiritual session. And then they might have 2 in the morning. And then the afternoon, they would be free maybe to play the games and things like that. And then they have another session again in the evening. These children are really taught the word of God, and the teachers and the leaders actually have to come for a weekend before the camp to be able to train in what they're going to teach the children. So it really is an effective way to camp work, and it's really great to see it moving. We've got the younger ones here. They'll have a teenage camp. And I mean, imagine getting teenagers up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning to go and run. Well, nobody has any options. They all do it, boys, girls, the lot. Then they come back and they sort out breakfast, and before long they've got sessions going. But it really is exciting to be able to see that the word of God is taught, children are being saved, and then they're with their local churches, so they go back to their local churches and are able to be taught. Thank you. It's a great harvest. This is one of the sheds that they built to help the local people. And because they're helping them and advising them in their agriculture, their seed production has been really well, some of which they'll sell to the government. And that will give money to pay for the children to go to school. And it just so is such a blessing to be able to see the way Nyangombe has helped the local community in being able to care for their health, in being able to promote education, in being able to help them promote even their gardens and their agricultural work. Thank you. Yes, they've got many problems. The teenagers, a bit like Western teenagers, want everything. They've got problems with teenage pregnancies and many difficulties. And they really, really do need our prayers and our encouragement. Thank you. Some of the prayer points that Gordon has given me that we might be able to pray about. They're grateful for a funeral that took place recently. Irene Koweta is the wife of Charles, who's one of the main leaders in the Bible school. She passed away recently. They had over 2,000 visitors attending the funeral. Of course, out there, you have to feed them as well. Many stayed with Charles to try and encourage him. But yes, let's be grateful. But we need to pray particularly for Charles and for the Koweta family as they come to terms with losing their mother and really sort of the patriarch, the leader of the family as well. Let's give thanks for the container from MMN that's on its way with spare parts, relief goods, hospital equipment that will arrive in good time into Zambia. We need to pray for 4 children who are having facial and leg surgery, that they'll continue to heal, and then they'll have to bring them back to the Nyangombe district. They're able to really do this and act as a sourcing base along with the doctor in the local hospital. Sybil's just recently had an eye operation, and I hear that it's going well, and we need to pray that it will heal. They're hoping to go back in the middle of April, so they do really need our prayers. Pray for the program for 22, which is planned, and they're looking forward to being able to honour the Lord really in the training, in the children's camps, in the youth work, and in the Bible schools, which are already planned. That you know, it really will continue to change the lives. Yes, change it through education, change it through help, but you know, we're able to see people spiritually grow, as well as being able to see the developments. And if I can just add one other thing at the bottom, I'd be grateful of your prayers. We're planning, well, we have plans in hand to go out at the end of June till August, the beginning of August, and I'm taking another grandson with me. So we'd appreciate very much your prayers for that. And thank you so much for really praying and supporting for the work at Nyangombe. It is a great work, and it's a privilege to be able to just go along and help the folk who are out there.
Thank you so much, Colin, for sharing that. It's just incredible to hear about the work that's going on there. I can't imagine a camp of trying to handle 1,000 children, seeing as I find my 2 children hard enough. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. We will break out into prayer rooms again, just to pray through some of the things that Colin has shared with us about Nyangombe. Thank you.